Hello, everybody, and welcome to the fourth part of the Spirits of the Earth accidentally created Zoom series. This part is the Spirits of Russia, and we don't have almost anyone on right now, so that means that I get to talk about whatever I want to talk about. So, and you just have to watch the recording and hear what I say. So, there you go. So hi, my name is Satu Lindgren. I'm a Talk the Entities facilitator from Finland, so just from around the corner from Russia. And I have been doing these Zooms. This is now the fourth one of the series that started from Spirits of the North, and I did that with Yvonne Gerner from Norway. And it just got created because we were both like, oh, this just pinged me. Let's talk about the entities here in the northern countries. Here in like Norway, Sweden, Finland, like the Scandinavian area, because they were really like, in a way, present and demanded some attention. So we were like, oh, let's do the Zoom. And we did that, and it was a lot of fun and really like amazing. We were both like, oh, this was great. And then there were questions about creating this with different countries in different areas. So, and we also did, I did with some other people, Spirits of the Southern Europe, so like Spain and Portugal and that area, and then there were Spirits of the Eastern Europe. And these were all very different, so it was very interesting to get the sense how different energy is available in different areas of the planet. And that's what this Zoom is also about. It's about what energies and entities and possibilities are available in Russia and that land area, and with the beings that live in that area. So yes, it's Spirits of Russia. And I also wrote in Facebook that you don't have to be Russian to be part of this Zoom, so everybody can listen and everybody can receive from spirits in any part of the planet, because energy doesn't know the borders that we have created. So energy and the entities, they are not confined by the borders or by the like language or whatever we've decided in our minds to create to limit us. So everything that doesn't allow you to receive beyond the borders that we created with our minds, will you discern and get that? And those of you who don't know what Talk to the Entities is, it's a kind of like a specialty of Access Consciousness. So we use Access Consciousness tools to have more ease and more fun also with the entities. And in the other Zooms, I explained a bit more about what it is and where it started. So if you want to know about that, you can listen to the previous Zooms, or you can go to I think it's talktheentities.com is the website. And the other Zooms are also translated into Russian and in quite a few other languages also, so you don't have the excuse of not listening to them. And they were really fun. They have very different information than like the other Zooms, so I really do recommend that you watch them also. But Talk the Entities was created by Shannon O'Hara. She is Gary Douglas's stepdaughter. And I don't remember how long ago was Talk to the Entities created, but anyways, and Shannon has also done a telecast series with it was called Entities of the Earth, but then she changed that to Spirits of the Earth or Nature Spirits while she was doing the telecall, and it is a 3-part telecall, so that also has very different information about all of this topic. So if you want to know more about that from Shannon's perspective, I also do recommend that telecall. It's on the Talk the Entities shop. Cool. So, where shall we go from here? Just let me know if you have any questions. You can also type in a chat, or you can unmute yourself. We are so like few here that we can really do this as a private, almost like a private session about entities. One of the things with entities is that a lot of people say that they don't perceive entities, they don't see them, they don't hear them. It's like almost like non-existent for them. And one of the ways that you can start perceiving entities is to lower your barriers. So all the barriers that we have up or we have ever built up in any lifetime to not be aware, can we now dissipate, release, destroy, and uncreate all of those barriers? Right or wrong, good and bad, but and nations, present, beyond. And allow all of your barriers to drop. And allow them to drop more, more. It feels right away better. A lot of us have learned that the way to survive in this world is to put up walls and barriers, because then you don't have to look at the stuff that's going on around you that is crazy, or you don't like it, or it's just weird, or it might hurt you. But when you put those walls and barriers up, they don't only keep away the stuff that you have decided is bad or wrong, it will keep everything out. So all the stuff that you have decided that you can't receive, or that is just way too bad, that makes you put up all your walls and barriers, and we destroy and uncreate that. Right, everyone gonna wrap it up on nations, present, beyond. And it's not just that you will not then perceive entities when you have the walls and barriers up, you will not receive anything else that would like to come your way that you have this, like, put these walls and barriers up. So it also applies to money. And that's like what sometimes happens to people when they start really lowering their walls and barriers and working and receiving entities, is that they will start making more money, because you have to not have the barriers up. So everything that doesn't allow perceiving, playing, and being with entities be a profitable, what shall we call it? Profitable play for you. Can we just try and get that? You can receive from the entities, but then you can also practice receiving in general. Receive from everything, not just entities, but also from people or from whatever it is. Everything that doesn't allow that, can we just try and get that?
Yes.
I was going to say something, but now I forgot that. What was I saying? We're talking about the walls and barriers. Okay. Oh, yes. Entity. What is an entity? I will talk about it very briefly, because that's explained in the other Zooms. But the basic definition of the word entity is any defined energy. So it doesn't have to have a body, but it can have a body. So all of us, we're also entities, but now we also have a body at this moment. And there are also so many other things that we could talk about being defined energy, like piece of music, or piece of art, a book, I don't know, your coffee. They all have their own very specific energy that you can define. That, oh, now I know there's this energy, that's coffee. So all the definitions that we have of ourselves that limit us from being the infinite beings that we could be, can we discern and get that? Right, everyone gonna bapa and baka on just present beyonds. And then if we talk about the nature spirits, or the spirits of the earth, that is kind of the main topic of this Zoom, that's where you really have to be willing to let go of your definitions. Because a lot of those beings, they don't have the normal definitions, so they don't fit into the definitions that we have, or that our mind can think of. And then when you try to define those entities based on the definitions that you have, you will already lose the perception that you had. So all those things, beings, entities that you have been aware of, that you defined out of existence, can we destroy and uncreate that? Right, everyone, good and bad, but I'm on nature's present beyond. Ooh, that had interestingly a lot of energy. So all those different entities, beings, energies that you have defined out of existence, can we destroy and uncreate that? Right, everyone, good and bad, but I'm on nature's present beyond. And how many beings of the earth have been trying to get your attention, but you ignore them because it didn't fit your definitions? everything that is can we discern and good at all. Right, everyone can back on a book on Asia's present. It is true with all entities, but especially with the spirits of the earth, that they don't fit into the definitions. And they are so different than what we are used to. And we do have a lot of stories. We all have all sorts of fairy tales, things that we tell kids, and then also the ghost stories and all of that. But that's just how our mind is trying to define what we have seen or what we have perceived. But it's not necessarily true. Or it might be just partially true, and then we attach all these weird things to it, and then we get really confused and it gets really like mixed up. We're like, I don't know what's really going on here. It's really weird. So everywhere where we have done that, can we untwist that? Right, everyone gonna bop on a book on Asia's present beyond. I don't know if you've heard it, like I think this we often talk about in Access, is that your mind can only define what it already knows. Or your mind can only define the limitations of your reality. So everything that doesn't allow you to lose your mind is trying to get that. Right, everyone get on back on nations present. Your mind can only define what it has already seen or what it already knows. And then that's very interesting thing when we talk about different stories and fairy tales and things, the ghost stories, everything that we have defined as not real, but where did it come from? Because if your mind can only define what it has already seen, then where did all those stories come from? So everything that doesn't allow us to have the awareness beyond stories, can we discern and get that? Right, everyone good and bad, but on book on nature, sports and beyond. And all the definitions that you have bought from all the stories that you've ever heard about nature spirits or spirits that live in Russia, can we dissipate, release, discern, and create all of that? Right, everyone good and bad, but on book on nature, sports and beyond. And all the definitions that we have put on different nature spirits and different entities, and that they have put on themselves or taken on and aligned and agreed with, can we revoke, recant, rescind, renounce, discern, and create it all? Right or wrong, good or bad, but on book on measures, but in beyond. How many beings have you not received because you couldn't define them? Everything that is, can we discern and create it all and allow ourselves to receive that now?
Yes.
Right or wrong, good or bad, but on book on measures, but in beyond. Are you willing to receive something or talk with something or just perceive something that you have no idea what it is? That will make you just go, whoa, what the heck? Everything that is, can we discern and get it all? Right or wrong, good or bad, but on book on nature, space and beyond. And that, I think, is one of the main reasons why a lot of the stories about entities or nature spirits and all of that have ended up being kind of dark or scary, because they were somebody perceived or noticed that, oh, there's this being, but it was so different. They didn't have any definition for that, and then they got scared, because we tend to get scared when we don't know what something is or when our mind can't follow it. And then they get scared, and then they make those stories about all these monsters in the forest and all of that. So everywhere where we have defined things that we don't know as scary to keep us away from that, can we discern and get that? Yes. An interesting thing that I noticed, I lived in other countries for a while, and then when I moved to Finland again after a couple of years, I became aware of this energy that was very, very dark. It was kind of very dark energy, and it was kind of pushing me away. I was like, I don't want to look at it's unpleasant. I don't want to look at that. And then I noticed that this is actually the spirits of the earth here in Finland, that they have veiled themselves. They put this kind of like a blanket over themselves to appear really scary, to appear this dark way, so that people would not go to forest, or people would not go to their homes. or destroy their homes. So that's just a way of protecting themselves. And then when I started going, like, oh, wait a second, I'm not like, what if I didn't go into fear of this? But what if I was actually really present here? What could I be aware of? And then I started noticing all these different spirits of the earth. I was like, oh, hi, very clever hiding tactic you got. Hiding yourself under something that looks scary so that it will make people turn away. Everything that is can we destroy and get it all. Right, everyone gonna bap and buckle on nations, and how many things about you have you made to look really scary so that you will not look there? Everything that is can we destroy and get it all. Right, everyone gonna bap and buckle on nations, we do this a lot with ourselves also. When we have something, we could have something happen to us when we were, for example, kids, and we just decided that this was like horrible, I should never look at this. And then we make it appear really dark or scary or just really unpleasant. Even in the end, it might not have been that unpleasant or that scary, but we just decide that we don't want to look at that. Then we bury it really deep, we put it like all these dark layers above it, and then we will never look at that. And even if we get near, we go, no, don't go there. So all the stuff that you've done like that with, can we destroy and credit all? Right, everyone get about nations, Dane tells a story where Gary asked him, what's the most perverted thing that you have ever done in your life? And Dane was like, oh no, I cannot tell you, this is just horrible. No, like you will never be my friend again if I tell you. Like, no, I will not, I can't tell you. And it took Gary 45 minutes to talk with Dane and go like, I will still be your friend, like we can deal with it, whatever it is, it's okay. And then in the end, Dane was like, well, but you can never tell this to anybody. Like when we were kids, we used to run around naked with my friend in the cul-de-sac or the end of the road and like lie on the grass. And Gary was like, that's the most perverted thing you ever done. But Dane, because he was a kid when this occurred, and there was these energies that he wasn't quite sure what they were, so he just hid it underneath all this, like, this is a bad thing, don't look there, it's dark, it's scary, it's not good. And then when he finally managed to look there, it was like, oh, actually it's not that bad. So everywhere where you do this with your life, can we just try and get that? Right, everyone get on issues, present. And everywhere where you have put the whole topic of entities and the topic of nature, spirits, and the earth under all of this, like this is bad, this is dark, this is horrible, this is wrong, can we just try and get that? Right or wrong, good and bad, but and poco nations, present beings. And every time when you see that sign that goes like, don't look here, what if you got really present and went like, okay, what's there? Let's look there. Because a lot of the time when you actually allow yourself to look there, that's where you find the greatest freedom. Everything that doesn't allow that, can we destroy and create it all? Right, everyone get on back, but on Paco nations, beings. Nature spirits. So what are the nature spirits? I'm kind of curious what kind of words you have in Russian for different nature spirits, because in different languages we have different words. And I obviously know a lot of the English words, and then I know a lot of the Finnish words. And in Finland, we have way more words for different types of nature spirits than we have in English, because those nature spirits are specific to this area. So each language gives you an idea of what kind of nature spirits you have in that area, because those words exist in that language, but they don't exist in other languages. Do you have, like, any of you want to say if you know any nature spirits or names of nature spirits in Russian that you don't know exactly how to translate it into English? Like, we don't have nature spirits, what are those? Everywhere where all the nature spirits have been really well hidden in Russia, even though they are not, can we discern and get that? Right around getting about nature spirits and beyond. Russia is interesting because it's so big. It's like the area, the land area is very, very big. So there's a lot of different kind of nature areas. There's mountains, there's lakes, there's really hot areas, really cold areas. So that also allows a lot of different space for different kind of nature spirits. Here in Finland, they're not that, they have a very similar type of energy, all of them, even though they're different kinds, because the land area is not so big. So everything that doesn't allow you to play with the different kinds of beings from all around the world can we discern and get all. Right, everyone get about put book on nations, prison beyonds. Does anybody have any questions? No, right? You don't have any questions. You're like Finnish people.
Awesome. Satu, I just realized because a friend texted me, people cannot access the Russian Zoom. And I think some of them are here.
Okay.
And I just would like to welcome them in Russian.
Yeah.
Всем привет. Если русский Zoom недоступен, вы можете задавать вопросы здесь. Я переведу, если требуется. And I just would like to share my experience because right now I lived about 3 years in the hottest place of Russia. And originally I was born and grown up in kind of cold winter style life. And actually, yes, the energy is different. And the energy of different places in one area varies as well. Did you get what I mean?
Yes, I was just waiting. Are you going to translate that into Russian?
I will just, yeah. И я поделилась историей, что я около 3 лет живу в самой южной точке, в Сочи, хотя родилась в холодном климате, и могу сказать, что энергии действительно отличаются, и даже внутри одного региона энергии разных мест тоже разные.
Hello. Did you have a question of that, or were you just
no, just a comment. Like it's not only from region to region, but even inside one area, the energy just different.
Absolutely, yeah. And in some areas there are more nature spirits in that area, and then some areas it's just not that many. And when there's more of them, there's of course more diversity and different kinds of beings. And then in some areas, if you have very few, you have less diversity also. So sometimes it's very, like if you're more interested to play with these beings, is to go in different areas and just sit there and lower your walls and barriers and perceive what you perceive. Just get the sense, okay, who is here? What energies are here? What can I be aware of here? And then just lower your walls and barriers and allow yourself to notice whatever it is that you notice, and then go to a different area. Or go walk maybe 1 kilometer away and then do it again and see how different it is. Or is it different? Because sometimes it might be very different and sometimes it might not be that different. And when you start acknowledging it, that's where you start getting more awareness. So everything that doesn't allow you to acknowledge what you are already aware of, can we discern and get that? Right, everyone going because a lot of you already know it. You already know this stuff. And you know that you go to this forest, it's completely different than this forest. But you never really notice that, oh, I'm actually aware of the energy being very different here. So everything that doesn't allow you to start really truly acknowledging what you're aware of, can we discern and get that? Right, everyone good and bad, but in Boko and Asia's boys and beyond. And that's why it's also very much fun to travel to different countries, and you get the awareness of different entities in that area. And and the one thing that we didn't talk about is that these spirits of the earth, or nature spirits, they are part of the earth's biology and the ecology of it, and they make it work. And if there are no nature spirits, the earth in that part will start to like die, and it's not that vibrant like you see in certain cities where it's really, there's no parks, there's no space for these spirits of the earth. If it's just these buildings, a lot of us feel very like there isn't that kind of vibrancy and the sense of the earth being alive, and you can easily lose the sense of the connection with the earth. Although even in the cities, the earth is there. So everything that doesn't allow you to start acknowledging the earth beneath your feet, also in big cities, can we discern and get that? And start inviting those beings of the earth into wherever you are. So even if you're in a big city, you're in a huge apartment building, you can still start inviting the spirits of the earth. Because when we build cities, we drive them away. We're like, you're not allowed here. This is where we live. Go away. We do that very like unconsciously. But now we can also consciously start inviting them back. So everything that doesn't allow you to be the invitation to nature spirits to create a thriving planet, can we destroy and get that? Right or wrong, good and bad, but poco on nature spirits and beyond. And sometimes you can, like in the other Zoom, we talked about this one place where they had suddenly built huge buildings for people to live in, and they were built like kind of very fast. And then there was this lady who had a sense that that there were these kind of nature spirits who were like very like upset or sad. And that can happen when we don't let them know that, hey, like, sorry, we're going to build something here. Could you please move to some other place? And because some of them, everything that doesn't allow you to know that the spirits of the earth are all very different from each other also. Can we discern and get that? Because sometimes we think that they're all very clever, or that they are more clever than us, but not all of them are. So, and they might require our help or assistance. So, so when you have this kind of situation that you notice that there is some, like, there are, for example, new buildings being built, and you notice an energy that's kind of upset or it's sad or something like a child crying could be sometimes, then you can go like, wait a second, are there like nature spirits here who just lost their home under these buildings? And then you can be like, hey guys, I'm so sorry that you lost your home. Here is a new place for you. And then you can point out, like in a way in your mind, but in your awareness, you point out that there's a forest that way, or there's a park that way, or you just point that out for them. That, hey, you can actually go somewhere else. And also apologize. Hey, sorry, I'm sorry, we built a house under your or over your home. So that's also how easy the communication can be, because a lot of the time we think that it's somehow very complex. So you have to do these tricks, or you have to stand on one foot and like wave your other arm and like do something else with the other arm and do all these spells, and then you can maybe communicate with the spirits of the earth. But you can talk with them and communicate them the same way as you communicate with anything else. They might not talk to you with words like we use. They are often way more energetic. So, but that's the case with all of the entities. So everything that doesn't allow you to be energetic in your communication, can we discern and get that? Right, everyone, get on back and popcorn and beyond. What I often notice when I'm communicating with entities is that it's more pictures. It's more like kind of way seeing an image, but it's not really seeing an image, but you have a sense of something, like a picture of something, or sometimes you hear words, but not always. So everywhere where you have decided how your entity awareness must and have to show up for you, can we discern and get that? Because sometimes we think that we have to see the fairies, you know, we have to see these little ladies with wings, and that's the only time when we are aware of the spirits of the earth. And if you don't see them, you're not aware. So everything that is, can we discern or get it all? Right, everyone, get on back and they actually don't always show up like that. They have different kind of appearances, and like we talked in the beginning, a lot of them also have appearances that we have never seen. And then we try to define that, and then we lose them. We don't see them because they don't fit into the lenses that we have on. So all the lenses that you have on to avoid ever seeing any or perceiving any spirits of the earth, we just renegade that. I actually had a very funny thing. I noticed it more this morning, but it has been going on for a few weeks. When I came back from a trip, I was away for a couple of weeks, and then I came to Finland again, I think like a couple of weeks ago now. And I noticed here in my house that there were these noises. They were not super loud, but kind of like crackling noise, like kind of like you would like do like this kind of stuff with paper or plastic and all that kind of this kind of noise. Every now and then, it was not like constant, but suddenly you could hear it in different parts of the room. And especially in this room that I am in right now, not in the bedroom, but in this room, yes. And I was like, that's funny, like, but it was very light and like not very noisy energy. So I was like, okay, whatever. I don't really care. And then today I was talking with my mom who lives nearby, and she came to visit me here. And then this noise occurred again, and she was like, what? And then it occurred again, and she was like, this is like weird. And then I said that, well, this has been going on for a couple of weeks. And then she said, for me too. I had the same thing happening at my house for a couple of weeks, and at your sister's place. And she lives nearby also. And I was like, And when she said that, I suddenly got this awareness of certain beings, like fairly tiny. I would say they're about this size. I only have a sense of that this is about this size, but I don't really have other, like, what they look like. I don't know, but I can still perceive these, like, defined energy that is about this size in different parts of the room when you hear that noise. And I was like, that's funny. Like, what are these beings? And then I got the sense that, wait a second, like a couple of weeks ago when the weather started getting more colder, did they just come inside? Do they like move inside for the winter? And I was like, I think that's what they're doing. And then I just thought that, maybe it's time for them to hibernate, go to sleep for the winter. And after that, the noise stopped. And there hasn't been the noise since then. And now I have a sense that they are sleeping. But, it's not like, you can't really get to this stuff with your mind or with your thinking or with your definition because it's so not what we're used to. But I just had that sense and I'm like, okay. And then the noise stopped. So that's also what you got to do a lot with the entities and especially with the spirits of the earth, that you just practice and play with it. You go like, is it this? And you're like, the noise stopped. Okay, cool. So maybe it was that, or that somehow addressed the energy of it. So everything that doesn't allow you to play with these tools and play with all the energies that you're aware of, then we just renegade that. Right or wrong, good or bad, but on popcorn, space and beings. And if I had made that like super significant and went like, what is this and what do we do this and why are they in my home, that I would have lost the awareness right there. And then it would have gone like out of control, out of my hands, out of me being able to do anything with it. So how much are you making things significant in your life so that you cannot change them? Everything that is, can we destroy and grid it off? We talked a little bit about these spirits of the earth, how they can be very different. They can be different the same way as people are different. Some can be happy, some can be sad, or they may be upset, or all these different things. They're not all the same. And one general thing with a lot of the spirits of the earth is that a lot of them are actually really joyful and happy beings. And then if you're not willing to have that kind of joyfulness and happiness in your life, you will not be able to be aware of them. They are still there, but if you're not willing to receive that kind of joyfulness, you won't be able to perceive them or receive them. So everything that doesn't allow you to be as happy as you would need to be to actually receive, can we discern and grid it off? Right or wrong, good or bad, but of course, in Russia, I don't know if it's really even, it's probably against the law to be happy. So at least here in Finland, it's almost like that. So, and that's also when we exclude these beings out of our life, of all the awareness that we have to get sad because we are losing so much of ourselves. So all those parts of yourself that you cut off because you cannot be aware, so you can be unhappy, can we discern and get that? What would it take for you to be so happy that the earth can thrive? Everything that doesn't allow that, can we discern and get all? The earth itself, it's not very sad, is it? It's more like very exuberantly throwing everything everywhere and going, oh, a tree here, let's put a tree here, let's make it red, this tree is green and this is happening here, put some animals here, oh, this is happening, oh, a storm cut everything down, okay, well, let's do something else. No, it doesn't go and be like, oh no, this flower died. Oh, I can't even do that properly, it's so funny. But the nature's like, oh, the flower died, what can grow here now? So everything that doesn't allow you to be that not significant, can we discern and get out? Does anybody have any questions? I think I've been talking like nonstop.
I have a question.
Yep.
У меня есть вопрос. I just want to jump to the story how Gary received the information or awareness about the bars, because there is a story about the entity called Ras or Rasputin. Maybe you know, there was a man in the beginning of 20th century which was called Rasputin, and he was kind of priest, and he served to Nikolai II, our last Tsar. And people said that this man, Rasputin, could affect the decision of the Tsar and actually rule the country. So there were many people who would like to kill him. I just wonder, is this the same entity who showed Gary the story about the bars? So just let me to translate this in Russian. И я спросила Сату о такой вещи. В некоторых книгах написано, что Гэри пришла осознанность о барах от сущности, которая называется Рас или Распутин. И я напомнила, что в истории России в начале 20-х годов был такой персонаж, как Распутин, который служил царю, и многие считали, что он управляет царем, управляет Россией. Я спросила, это та же самая сущность или нет?
And that they actually, in Access, they don't call him the priest. They say that he's the mad monk of Moscow. So that's what it's called in Access. And I don't know if he actually gave the bars to Gary, because like the story of the bars is that Gary was really unhappy with his life, and then he was asking what else was possible, and he got an invitation to channel someone's massage therapist. And he was like, this is weird. But he just went there, and that's where he channeled the bars. And actually, I don't know who was the person he gave the bars to Gary, but Rasputin was the one that Gary used to channel a lot at the beginning of Access at classes, for example. And that's how the Becoming Money workbook is done. It's actually Ross. It's not Gary talking, but it's actually this guy talking and like facilitating the class. So if you want to hear his voice, you can read that book and you can see. But it's very funny actually. And so is it the same person? What do you know?
This is why I'm asking you.
Yeah. So, I mean, in the end, I don't know if it really matters, but I just kind of have a sense that that's very light, that it was the same person. But, you know, whoever it was, pretty funny guy. I don't know if you know, like all of you know what channeling is, But channeling is when there is a being and it, in a way, comes to you or in your body and speaks through your body. So you as a being, you step back and you allow the other being to talk through you. So this is what Gary was doing at the beginning of Access, and he doesn't really do that anymore, but he would always explain that it was as if he was somewhere really far and he would like hear and watch everything through this like tunnel, and everything was happening at the other end of the tunnel. So he always had to listen to those classes afterwards because he had no idea what he had said. And this is actually a surprisingly common thing that people can do. A lot of us think that was just very special people who can do this, but actually it's a very common talent or capacity that we have. But we tend to be, or those people who do it, they tend to do it very unconsciously. So they are very like, they just allow somebody to take over and then they have no idea what happened. So everything that doesn't allow you to always be more aware than any other entity, can we discern and create that? Right, everyone good about what I'm just the big ask, but everything that doesn't allow you to outcreate all entities, can we discern and create that? Right, everyone good about what I'm just Anna, did you have more that you wanted to ask about that?
I say it's no, I'm fine with your answer and your clearings. Thank you.
You're like, I'm fine, like let's not go too much in there because I might know too much, I might reveal too much to people, so let's not. Everywhere where you have all hidden your awareness of different pieces and parts of consciousness, can we discern and get that? What do you all know about entities, about spirits of the earth, about this planet, about our countries, about the land and the seas that you pretend that you don't know? Everything that is, can we discern and grid it all? And everywhere where you were forced to forget, or you knew that you cannot talk about this stuff yet, so you have to make sure that you don't talk about it, and the only way to make sure was that you actually forgot it or hide it so well that even you can't find it. Everything that is, and all the oaths, votes, feelings, fealties, communities, commitments, binding and bonding contracts you have to always keep these as secret, can we destroy, revoke, recant, rescind, renote, denounce, destroy, and regret it all? Sorry for that clearing, Anna. It's pretty bad, long. Oh, that's actually feels lighter now. That's interesting. So what do you all know about consciousness that you're pretending that you don't know because you're Russians? Everything that is, can we destroy and regret it all? And what do you all know about the spirits of the earth that you pretend that you don't know, or you're not allowed to know because you're Russians? Everything that is, can we destroy and regret it all? Right or wrong, good and bad, but and book all nations, praise and beyonds. And how much have you known that you cannot talk about this stuff? So you try to hide it also from you. So you started lying to you, and now you're buying your lies as true. Everything that is, can we destroy and regret it all? Right or wrong, good and bad, but and book all nations, praise and beyonds. And everything that doesn't allow you to always tell yourself the truth and lie very fluently to everybody else, can we discern and regret that? Not everyone can have and book on actual space and beings. Or you could be talking with the spirits of the earth or other entities. If you're aware of stuff that you know that I cannot talk about this with anyone, anyone is anyone in bodies. But what entities or what spirits of the earth or other beings could you be talking with about all those things that you're aware of? And everything that doesn't allow you to have those imaginary friends that you used to have when you were a kid, can we discern and get that? Everyone good and bad, but and book and I just put in beyond. Ooh, we've talked about quite a lot of stuff, or mostly I have talked about for quite a long time. Does anybody have any other questions? This is a fairly big...
I have question.
Okay, awesome.
У меня есть еще один вопрос.
I think you're just channeling everybody else's questions. This is what a lot of translators do.
И, похоже, я тут счаннелила чей-то вопрос, и очень многие переводчики это делают. You know what just came up to my mind? I've heard many spiritual teachers who visit Russia then say that our country is highly spiritual. And for me, it's a kind of a discrepancy within this spiritual abundance, like in our mystery Russian soul. And from the other side, we are not as rich in money as we are rich in spirituality.
Yes.
Oh, how come?
Help, Satu, help!
И я говорила о том, что многие духовные учителя, которые посещают Россию, говорят о том, что в России очень развита духовность, и я спросила, как это вообще возможно, что мы богаты духовно, но при всем при этом мы не богаты деньгами. Почему? Пожалуйста, спасите наши души.
So, how many lifetimes have you been told that you can either be spiritual or you can have money? Everything that is, can we just try and get that? Right or wrong, good and bad, but I'm and I should get that's like, who told you all those lies? Stop believing them. Everything that is, can we just try and get that? Right or wrong, good and bad, but I'm and I should how many times and how many lifetimes have you bought and sold the idea that money is not spiritual? Everything that is, can we just try and get it all? Right or wrong, good and bad, but I'm and I should and everywhere where you are just generally bad if you have money, can we destroy and agree that? Right, everyone good and bad, but in book nation space and beings. And everywhere where the richness of true consciousness was lost under spirituality, can we destroy and agree that? Right, everyone good and bad, but in book nation space and beings. Because spirituality in the end, it's almost like a religion. It has all these points of view about like if you have money, you can't do spirituality and all of this stuff. But consciousness includes it all. So how much have you all bought into being spiritual and have no money instead of being conscious and have everything? Everything that is, can we discern and get it all? Right, everyone get about consciousness. That's somehow really funny. So everywhere where you have all the old soul spheres, fealties, communities, commitments, binding and bonding contracts, you have to always be spiritual and not have money instead of being conscious and have everything. Will you revoke, again, rescind, renounce, destroy, and get them all? I don't want to get about correlations, this is super funny. So, did Russia create spirituality? Everything that you have had to do with that to make sure that you don't have money, can we discern and get it all? Everywhere where any of you and Russia has been part of creating spirituality as a diminishment of consciousness, can we revoke, again, rescind, renounce, discern and get all of that? Right or wrong, good and bad, but and allow the true consciousness to be the consciousness of that earth there, and the consciousness of all the beings, and the consciousness of all of you, and the consciousness of your bodies to actually thrive and create your money also. Everything that doesn't allow that, can we discern and get it all? Right or wrong, good and bad, but and beyond. That's very interesting.
I think next Zoom gonna be entities and money.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That's a big topic, but it's very interesting. I might run that clearing like on your own a few times about spirituality and no money and consciousness and having everything. I think that might change something. I might run it also. Cool. Any other questions? And I will no longer channel everybody else's questions.
Actually, I sense that there are some kind of question, but I prefer to stay on mute. Ну, вообще-то, как бы я чувствую, что есть какой-то еще вопрос, но я предпочитаю оставаться в тишине.
Well,
and you know, it's kind of a feeling like some people hide themselves behind entities.
Yeah.
Sounds weird.
No. Some people hide themselves behind other people also. And then we also use entities. So how many, I don't know, that might be a long conversation, but we do that with people, we do that with entities, and we give entities power over us and all sorts of stuff that we do. But this is more like another longer class, and that's actually what we often talk about with the other Talk to Entities classes. So, but I would say that everywhere where you're making any entity, being, a person more powerful than you and what you know, will you revoke, recant, rescind, renounce, destroy, and create all of that? Are there any other like short questions other than questions that lead to 1 hour conversations? Because if not, then I would thank you all very much. Spasiba. I'm very grateful for this Zoom. I had fun and we explore very different topics again. And I'm actually coming to Russia in January, so maybe I will see some of you in St. Petersburg. And what else is possible? And also, if you want more info, you can watch the other Zooms. They're all translated into Russian. You can find them in my YouTube, or you can get Shannon's Talk to the, oh no, that's not what it's called. It's Entities of the Earth, then later on named Spirits of the Earth Telecall. I will put a link for that also in Facebook. Awesome. Cool. Let's go play. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye. There's a question. Will you share a recording? Yes, I will post a recording in Facebook. Cool. Thank you. Пока-пока.